Hi, this is Book and BuJo. I'm Debbie, and welcome if you're new. Welcome back if you've been here before. Today we are doing a little mid-month check-in. To start out with, let's go through my reading journal. So I am happy to say that I am keeping up with my year in pixels. And so far how I've been using it is working. I didn't actually add it to my monthly in my journal. So keeping track, the bigger calendars definitely helped with that. How's my reading gone so far? So all the colored in spots are the books I've already read or how far I am into my books and my readathons and book clubs and such. I haven't been keeping up with my reviews yet again. I'm trying, I'm getting there. I did get at least one of them done. I still have a few. I did complete all of my reviews for January, so I was very happy about that. And then I started on my December review. So I have November done, so now I'm working on December backlog and keeping up with February. I have a few less books in February that I need to read, so I'm hoping to use that time towards writing my reviews. So let's hope. Okay, so what have I read so far in February? So far I have read the Aenid of Virgil, and I enjoyed the Iliad, and listening to it was really nice. Just the rhythm of the prose and everything was really enjoyable. So I'm like, let's just keep into that style while I'm feeling it. And so I went into the Aenid. Not as much. There are parts of it that I was into and enjoying, and parts of it that I was just like, oh, I should really just DNF this. But it's not very long. It's just over 300 pages. What is it? Oh no, it's 442 pages. So it wasn't too bad. I was listening to the audiobook. I also had the physical book from the library and my Kindle book. And one of the things that I liked with the Iliad is I was able to follow along with the audiobook in my Kindle. But for some reason, my Kindle book, my library book, and the audiobook were all three different translations, so none of them were the same. I couldn't listen to and look at either of the other two to kind of follow along. So that was a little frustrating, so I ended up just listening to it for the most part, and it was okay. I liked it, nothing amazing. I think I haven't run it through Compile yet, but it's going to be a three-ish stars. That means written well and all of that. It's just my enjoyment was low, so it's probably 3.5. Okay, my next book I already returned to the library, but I have the fourth book in the series, so I'll just hold that one up as a placeholder. And that was the Bands of Mourning, which is the third book in the Mistborn Era 2 series, and I did enjoy that one. I thought it was great. I love Wax and Wayne and their interactions, and just the humor is so much fun. I don't know if it's being from a state that had like the Wild West, you know, because Arizona we had Tombstone, and if that helped me kind of be in the vibe, I don't know. But I completely enjoyed it. I had so much fun. I just love the humor in it. It's just a great time. And Wayne and Steris are two of my favorite characters of the whole book. I mean, I love Maurice and I love Wax, but Wayne and Steris, chef's kiss to those characters. I just love them. So that one will I did put that one through Compile, and that one did get 4.5 stars. Next up was a book I was really looking forward to just by the name, but then I realized it was a book of short stories and not just one book. Then I realized it was a book of children's short stories, and so my anticipated star rating for it kind of went down a bit when I read that. And then when I started reading it, definitely was okay. That was the Book of Dragons, and that's by Edith Nesbit, and it was enjoyable. I think as a kid I probably would have enjoyed it a lot more than I do now. It's those children's stories that I feel, I don't know what the right word is. I've been trying to figure out the word I want to use for it. It's not pandering. It's almost like they talk down to the children, but then some of the things they say, like if you don't brush your teeth, a dragon's gonna come and eat you, and no one's gonna like you, and that kind of thing, just, oh, it just bothers me. you should never use self-esteem issues to get children to do stuff. If you don't do that, people won't like you. No, don't do that. And this had that in multiple stories, and so yeah, that was a hard no for me. I did finish it. It's definitely not long. It's only 176 pages, and my library actually had the audiobook as well, so I listened to the audiobook while I was reading it, and that helped me get through it a little bit more, although the narrator's voice was tough to listen to. It was very nasally, and you could kind of like hear him breathing through his nose, and so that kind of bothered me a little bit too, with it being like right in your ear. But it was done well. So John Rayburn is the narrator, and I think it sounds like he's done a lot of audiobooks, and I think on maybe when he was younger it might have been a little better. I feel like he's older when he's reading this, and so it just, that comes out a little bit more in his voice and made it a little harder to understand and listen to, for me anyway, I guess. Yeah, but again, the stories just felt like there was a lot of potential, but overall they just felt kind of ridiculous to me, so unfortunately not for me. But for kids, they probably would enjoy it because it was fun and fantastical and slightly ridiculous. So probably 2.5 to 3 stars for me on this one. We'll see how it comes out in Compile. Next book that was on my TBR that I completed so far this month is The Girl and the Mountain by Mark Lawrence, and this is the second book in the Book of the Ice series, and I thoroughly enjoyed this. 4.5 stars most definitely, and I am really looking forward to seeing the conclusion to this in the next book. I can't remember if it's the April book, because I think it was December, January, so February, March was this book, and then I think that book's April, May. I could be wrong, but I think that's what it is. But this is with the Backlist Book Club with Covers with Cassidy, and thoroughly enjoyed this one. Next up, I also just returned both books to the library, but I finished The Last Hero and The Amazing Maurice and His Educated Rodents by Terry Pratchett, and that's books 27 and 28 in the Discworld series, and I am reading those for the Around the Disc in 800 read-along with Literary Diversions, and they were both adorable, super cute. The first one is with, I always say his name wrong, it's Cohen the Barbarian. I always want to say Conan. It's Cohen the Barbarian and his band of heroes. And it was super fun. I love it because you also have Captain Carrot in there, and it's just a lot of fun characters. And the one I read was illustrated, and that made it even more exciting. And then The Amazing Maurice, I was saying it was Maurice because that's what I think of when I see the way it's spelled, but it was pronounced Maurice in the audiobook, and I listened to that one and read at the same time. And that one was cute, not necessarily one of my favorites. It was all about, you know, of course, the educated rodents and this cat, and not necessarily my favorite subject matter for books, especially having moved into a house here that was empty for about 9 months or so, and so we had a lot of rats in the house we had to get rid of, and they destroyed so much in the house. Yeah, so maybe a little too soon to read a book about rats. But it was super cute. The writing style was amazing, as always, and very humorous, and I love Terry Pratchett, so those were both great books. I did start my black letter calligraphy class. I'm still waiting on the pens. I used to carry a 4-pack of the Pilot Parallel pens, which are more of a, I'll just call it a chisel tip for lack of a better term. Instead of a fountain pen, which has more of a fine tip that you write out with, this has more of a blunt end, almost like it's squared off at the end. So you can do those nice Gothic lines from the more Middle Ages. And they no longer carry that 4-pack anywhere. Jet Pens is out, Goulet Pens is out, Amazon doesn't have it. And so, yeah, if you happen to know where I can find the 4 or 6-pack of those Pilot Parallel calligraphy pens, let me know in the comments. I would love to be able to get those. But I was able to find a 1-pack of one of the sizes, so they do recommend if you're just starting out to get 2 different sizes, and that's the 1.5 and the 3.0 millimeter, and so I got the 3. And then I also was able to get the converter so I can use regular inks and not just the cartridges in them, although if I get an eyedropper, I should be able to refill those cartridges with any inks I have and reuse them. So that's some different options for you if you want to get started on it. And I will leave Tamer's website down below, as well as his calligraphy, or his YouTube channel, if you want to check him out, because he's great and so talented. He does some amazing things. So he does artwork where it's like a picture of Yoda, but it's all done with calligraphy. So it's all words and writing and letters and all of that, but it ends up in the shape of like Yoda's head. He is so talented. It's amazing. I have the lettering sheets all ready to go, and I have the pens ordered. So all I'm waiting for is them to show up, and it's supposed to show up tomorrow, so that's good. I've been kind of somewhat practicing with like a chisel tip highlighter just to start out with, just to have something. So in like hand lettering, there's, I want to say 7 or 8 different basic strokes that you learn. So you know the downstroke, the upstroke, the kind of like the upside down U, and then the U kind of shape that you practice, the side, and the loops, the ascending loop and the descending loop, and all of those. For these ones, for the black letter calligraphy, there's only 4 main strokes. So there's basically like a down, there's a sideways, there's like a horizontal, a vertical, a sideways, and I don't remember what the other one was. A diagonal. Yeah. I'm hoping it's going to be not necessarily easier, but hopefully a little bit easier, since I already kind of have the concept of it down from doing hand lettering, and I've done some calligraphy stuff in the past. So I'm hoping that I will have a nice little learning curve, an easy learning curve, getting to, what am I trying to say? That there won't be a big learning curve in me trying to figure it out. There we go. I am still waiting for BuJo and Blackbird from my library, the audiobook. I think I'm a 7 out of 11 right now on the waiting list, and for the physical book, I think I am next in line. I think there's either one person ahead of me and then I get it, or I think it's the person who's reading it, as soon as they turn it in, then it's my turn. So that's what I'm hoping, especially since it's a physical book. It'll take me a little bit longer to read, so I'm hoping I get that sooner rather than later. So next up, I still need to read The Burning Maze by Rick Riordan, which is the 3rd book in the Trials of Apollo series, and this one, as soon as I am done with this book, which I'll talk about in a minute, I will be starting this one. And another book with which I am struggling with a little bit, sort of, but not in the way you think I would be struggling. So that is Kingfall by David Estes, and this is the first book in the Kingfall history series. What I'm struggling with is not reading super far ahead. Like, I want to just sit and binge this book because I am thoroughly enjoying it. And part of it is because I've already read the Fate Mark series, which is in the same world. So I already know David Estes' writing style. I kind of have a hint of what is going to be coming up a little bit. So I really want to just sit and read the whole thing. But since it's part of the book club, I'm trying to hold myself back a little bit and not do more than 1 chapter each day, which is still a little ahead of schedule, because we really only need to read 13 to 15 pages a day to finish it in the 2 months. But I will probably end up finishing it at the end of this month. It's that good. Which means I am almost done with my TBR. So I have 2 books that I have not started yet. I have one I am partway through, almost halfway through, and then my calligraphy challenge that I am working on. There's still more, right? So we have book clubs and read-alongs and readathons. For book clubs, Kingfall History, that is the Book and BuJo book club, and you can check it out on Fable. There's still time if you want to come on in and start reading Kingfall with us. The BuJo Buddies book club is the BuJo and Blackbird. That one I'm still waiting on. Backlist book club was with covers with Cassidy, and that is The Girl on the Mountain by Mark Lawrence, which I already talked about. And the Catch-Up book club with Becca and the Books, we are reading A Little Hatred by Joe Abercrombie, and this is the first book in the Age of Madness series, and this one is for February and March. So if I don't get to it in February, then that's fine. I can read it in March and still be on schedule. But if I have time, I will definitely be picking this one up. But I still have BuJo and Blackbird and The Burning Maze to read first. Then for read-alongs, the Cosmere read-along. So excited. I am almost done with this one, and I will be caught up with the Cosmere part. I still have a whole lot of Brandon Sanderson books to read that I haven't gotten to yet, like the Skyward series and some of his, like the Alcatraz and the Evil Librarian, I think is one of the other ones, but some of those, and I've only read the first book in the Reckoner series, so I have some other ones that I need to read, but this will be pretty much caught up for the Cosmere, and that is The Lost Metal, which is the fourth and final book in the Mistborn Era 2 series so far with Wax and Wayne, and I am almost done. I have, what, like 20 pages left, I think. I have this much left, so I will definitely be finishing that today. So I'm on page 482 out of 500. So yeah, I'm just about done. I will be finishing this one today, and I'm loving this series. I am loving the interactions between all of the characters, and they are just so much fun. Love it. And I already talked about the Around the Disc in 800 literary diversions. That was The Last Hero and The Amazing Maurice and His Educated Rodents. Did finish those ones. And then lastly, we have the Wheel of Time read-along with Got a Thing for Things. That's Sandra over there, and we're up to The Path of Daggers. Again, this is the February and March book, so I do want to try and finish both the Joe Abercrombie and this book by Robert Jordan. Just because I know March I'm going to have some big chunky books on there with the big book club and Middlemarch coming in. That one's going to be a big one, and it's a classic, so it's take me longer to read that one. So I want to try and get some of these busted out in February if possible, but if not, then that's okay too. Then I also want to try and read a classic and a nonfiction every month. So my my classic this month was the Aenid, and so my nonfiction is Say Goodbye to Illness, and this is by Devi Namboodrapad, and she is, let's see, she has so many letters behind her name. She's a registered nurse. Has a PhD. She's in acupuncture. She's a chiropractor. She's has a lot of medical education behind her, and she came up with the NAET treatment for allergies. She had a ton of allergies, and she happened to discover one day something that worked for her, and she's been refining it ever since, and this was in the 1980s, and so then it has just continued to grow, and a lot of chiropractors and dentists even, and some other medical practitioners are trained in and do the NAET method, which is the Namboodrapad's allergy elimination treatment. And you start out with the basic like 15 to 17 treatments that everybody goes through. It's like your basics, like a body-brain balance. You have proteins, a bunch of vitamins like vitamin B, vitamin C, or calcium, and a bunch of those, because it's amazing what your body could be allergic to. I've been treated for 8 different allergies so far, including eggs and cane sugar, which I already knew I was allergic to, and trees, which I also already knew I was allergic to, but also things I didn't know I was allergic to, like vitamin B complex and hormones. So basically my body was like, no, hormones are a foreign thing, you should not have them, and so my body completely stopped producing them, and now with NAET, they're saying, oh, hormones are part of your body, so that is a good thing, so hopefully we'll start producing some again. We'll see. So far, so good with the 8 that I have been treated for, and this book is great. I'm about halfway through, about here, and it could have gone through probably one more edit and one more proofread to catch some missing words, like a missing at or an is here and there, a misspelling of words, and just some translation issues. But it doesn't take away from the understanding of what she is saying in the book. The information is amazing, and she gives a lot of information. So there's just explaining how the whole thing works, and the different people and testimonials in here of people that have been treated and 9 years later are still fine, 10 years later are still fine. And just between when she started and when the book came out, there was only about 9 or 10 years in that time period. Very interesting. So what else have I been doing lately? Let's see. Oh, I know what else. So our fantasy bingo, I was waiting on a couple of physical books to come in because I had a lot of audiobooks but not a lot of physical or ebooks to come in. So I started another book at the beginning of February, which I'm just reading little snippets here and there. Like if I'm out and about and have my Kindle, then I'll read through it. If not, then I'm reading all of the other books I have first. And this book fulfills an Our Fantasy bingo prompt of angels or demons, and then the hard mode is if the protagonist or the main character is an angel or a demon. And so I'm reading I, Angel, and that is by Jashii Jashii. And I'm about halfway through, and I'm actually really enjoying it. It's not the most amazing literature out there or anything, but it's intriguing. I actually want to know what's going to happen. So there's a little mystery in there, and I'm having a fun time with it. What else have I been doing? Let's see, I've had a lot of handbell rehearsals lately because I'm in 2 different groups, and well, technically 3 different groups. So we have the High Desert Ringers, and within that we have a little trio that's working on a song. So there's just 3 of us that do it. And then I'm also in Peals of Praise, so 2 different groups, and that's been a lot of fun. We had almost an inch of rain, and then like 2 days later we got a foot of snow. So that's been fun. So we still have some snow outside, and it's very pretty, but it's okay if it melts soon. Things I'm loving. Today I am drinking a stout tea, and oh my gosh, that's delicious. It's basically black tea with a little bit of chocolate in there. So good. I'm also loving, because I've been using it again, and I was gonna kind of show you a little example. I've been using my Pentel Sign brush pens to do my intentions in my weeklies, and they just get such nice fine upstrokes for a small brush pen. It's just beautiful. Love it. But then they have a nice thick downstroke too. So I am loving my Pentel Sign pens. And then one that I forgot, not that I forgot that I had it, but I forgot it still had ink in it. I thought it was out of ink, but that's my Energel gel pen. It's the Pentel Energel, and this one is the 0.5, but it just writes so nice. It's just so smooth, and there's no hiccups with it. Like, there's no stuttering or anything. It's a great pen. Coming up, I have lunch with my mom and my cousin. So she's going to be back visiting, so we get to go out and do some lunch together. And we've been watching, so my husband's been enjoying The Young Sheldon, and I like it. We never watched The Big Bang Theory, so don't sort of know the character, because we've seen little snippets here and there and then people talking about it, but it's cute. And then we've also been watching Kim's Convenience, which is hilarious. I love that one. They're both like 20-minute episodes, so they're super quick, but so we can watch one of each night. It's been pretty fun. And we also rewatched Ready Player One, which again, thoroughly enjoyed it. Not much else going on. We did get to play for our worship team last Sunday, and that was fun. Although I did slip on the ice. That was annoying. It was actually kind of funny. So I've been wearing my snow boots all week, and I didn't even think about it. I had just some flats on. Luckily they were flats and not heels, but I forgot there's no grip on the bottom of these. These are more summery kind of shoes. But I was getting out of the truck and didn't realize the entire section of the parking lot on that side of the truck was ice. Luckily I didn't have my bag with me or anything, and I was able to hold on to the door and the side of the truck and just slowly went wee. And I had a nice wool coat on, so it was a little padded when I landed, so it didn't get hurt at all, but it was pretty funny. Kind of wish I would have had a video of that one. I totally forgot to go over the readathon. So I'm only doing 2 readathons in February, and that is, or I guess 2 readathons and a challenge. So the A to Z challenge, and I don't think I've put any new ones down for that. Yeah, all of them are from last month so far. And then I'm also doing a Buzzwordathon, and the prompt for February was positive words, and so I read The Last Hero, because hero to me is a positive word, and The Amazing Maurice and His Educated Rodents, because amazing is definitely a positive word. Completed that one already. And then the other one I'm taking part in is Adventures in Aldea 2024, and I have 2 books for that one. The first book was to read a book with non-human characters, and I read The Book of Dragons by Edith Nesbit, and the other one is to read a mystery or thriller, and that will be Butcher and Blackbird if I ever am able to get the book from the library. So coming up, if you want to keep an eye out, I have my March plan with me is for my bullet journal and my reading journal. I also have my March TBR-opoly coming up. Very excited for that one. And there are 2 readathons, 2 readathons. So I'll be taking part into Spring into Reading, which is the seasonathon, and that one is with a bingo card, and I will leave all of the information down below, all the links to the channels in case you want to check it out, with Melanie from Completely Melanie, as well as Stephanie's Bookverse. And I'm also taking part in Ramathon with Covers with Cassidy, so you'll want to check that one out because you'll want to sign up for which team you want to be on. So I will be on Team Time, and there's also Team Shadow, Team Blood, and I don't remember the 4th one, but there's 4 different teams you can join. And it's pretty fun, so you can either attack a team, so take away points from their team, or you can add points to your team. It's pretty cool. I think this is the 3rd time that Cassidy has been doing the Ramathon. So it's pretty fun. I will also be doing a couple more installments in my bookmark series, so check those out, as well as hopefully getting a tutorial for how to do a Bible tracker in your bullet journal. How is your February going? Have you been able to read all the books that you wanted to read, or are you lagging a little behind and need some motivation to catch up? Let me know down in the comments. And thank you so much for joining me today, and please like, comment, and subscribe if you want, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of the future videos from me. And until next time, keep reading. Bye!